everyone, and welcome to Destination Penguins. We are Jarek and Agnieszka traveling to the bottom of South America in our van Mundo. In 2023, we left our American lives behind and embarked on the journey south. Life is short, world is beautiful, and we want to make memories for a lifetime. So join us on this journey as we publish the highlights on YouTube. So, we are on the way to Cerro de la Muerte, which in English means Hill of the Death, and it's a hill where if we climb to the very top, we could see, in the good weather, in a clear weather, we could see the Pacific Oceans and the Caribbean Sea as well. So it is our second attempt to get to that spot. Because the weather in center of Costa Rica is not the greatest in late June. It's raining and there's quite a bit of fog. The hill is at 11,300 feet above sea level, so it's more like a mountain. And so we're trying to see if we can get above the clouds and see if we can hike to the top of it. We found a spot on the way to that is a wild camping spot on our first attempt. So we're going there and we're probably going to spend the night in the wild camping site and try to hike later this afternoon. So Highway 2 is very beautiful. We were going through the coffee plantations, and now it's just another national park area. But it's a little bit raining. The weather is less than 60. I mean, the temperatures are less than 60 degrees. And all the information that we could put our hands on is that overnight it's going to drop to like between 4 and 7 degrees Celsius. So I guess that's 40 degrees in Fahrenheit, or maybe a little bit more. But yes, it's a green and very lush part of Costa Rica.
Doesn't look promising.
Exactly. I don't know, maybe we can climb above these clouds, but like you said, it does not look promising. Our rain jackets and our warm jackets. Let's see. For sure we're not going to do the third attempt. This is it. We're turning off from the paved road into not paved road, and it's kind of like a back road to the Cerro de la Muerte.
Well, the question is, are we staying there?
Yes.
The weather is like this?
Yeah.
It's only 50 degrees.
You mean 15 Celsius? Oh, 50. 50.
50.
I see. Here's our camp spot. It's 11,000 feet. And it's kind of rainy. and we hope to go on a hike. So when we arrived at Cerro de la Muerte, we drove from low altitude and we reached 10,000 feet above sea level. Cerro de la Muerte is at 11,000, so we were just still 1,000 feet below our destination. We found a wild camping place like I showed, and we spent the night. And just probably about midnight, I woke up with massive headache and a little shortness of breath and kind of a feeling that I'm a nausea. So I was about to throw up, and I actually did throw up at night. So it seemed like I developed the high altitude sickness a bit. So we waited till the morning to see if maybe this goes away. But unfortunately, by like 6-7 o'clock, things were getting kind of worse, and Yarek developed a headache as well. So because we were thinking that I really want to go on that hike, and I really wanted to go to the place where I could see both oceans, Caribbean Sea and a Pacific Ocean, and the day was so gorgeous when we woke up. But we decided that I felt so bad, and I hardly slept that night because that's another symptom of high altitude sickness, that I'm not going to be able to make it like another 1,000 feet elevation change. So unfortunately, we had to pack up and leave. And the best cure for high altitude sickness is just go down. So we went straight down to Uvita, which is at 0. And obviously got much better and it was fine. But during the travels, this is what happens. Sometimes we don't see, our plans are diverted or changed, or they don't come to fruition because of things that happen. And unfortunately, we're not going to go back there because it's going north and we're going south. So there's no point of going 3 hours back and try to acclimatize somewhere at the midpoint of the elevation. So we'll miss that point, and we super regret it, but that's what happens. So that's an update why there will be no video from Cerro de la Muerte. Maybe it's poignantly named. Maybe I wasn't the first one who went through this, so maybe it happens quite often. I'm not sure, but I don't think it was as dramatic as, dying from it, but it was very unpleasant, I must say. We're spending a few days in Uvita and stopped at this nice campsite very close to the beach. And today we're going to go to the famous beach that is in the shape of a whale tail. You have to make sure time it in such a way that the tide is low. So the tide is low, luckily in the morning today at 8:30, and that's what we're planning on doing today. And hopefully that this time we're a little bit more successful than the previous adventure. Okay, so we started our travel, our walk to the we're on Bahia Belena, and the tide is out, which is good, but the person in the window told us that we have to be back by 11:30 because then we can cross some areas on the beach. So we have to kind of go a little faster. It is a beautiful beach, I must say. This beach reminds me of Playa Grande, like Eric said, but this is National Park. and it takes $30 to get in as opposed to Playa Grande being free. And apparently it's not the greatest beach for swimming. Here's the river flowing into the ocean and it's going pretty fast because of the rains that we had last few days. Police has just arrived to the beach. So here's the point, I guess, Uvita Point, and further out it's a sand spit that goes to the tail section of the beach. So that's what we're pretty much entering right now. There's still quite a few people, which is nice, good to know that we're not going to be in trouble and try to swim to the shore when the high tide comes in. And we'll try to fly the drone, which we'll see. The police seems to be leaving, which is a good thing, just in case there's some issues about flying the drone, which I can't imagine. The sand spit section of the whale tail, and then there's the other part of the beach. And then there's the point right here. So we came to the fin side of the Uvita Beach, and it's all rocks. But when you look at this beach on the internet, it looks like a sandy fin.
Yeah, so probably you have to catch it in the right moment
Yes,
to have this perfect effect.
yes.
Because right now it's a little bit out of shape.
Yes, it is not a perfect fin. This is how it looks. Close up. Close up of the rocks. Here's a perfect example of the bottom of the coconut palm. Like they kind of, the roots are a little bit above the sand, in the sand, and searching for light, so they have this very typical shapes on the beach, always going towards the sun. But that part is kind of interesting right here. Here's how coconuts start growing out of coconut fruit, obviously. And they just lay on the beach. They start growing leaves and then roots, and that's how coconut tree starts. Alright, so here's the description of the whale tail. So the rocky reef, which is the tail part, is 1 kilometer long. Okay, on the way back we're taking the jungle walk along the beach with a whole bunch of insects today. And there's a group of people who are actually maintaining the trail as a volunteer project. So this section looks beautiful and clean by now. So on the beaches in Costa Rica you can find a lot of beach almonds. They have fruits like this. And Lucy, the scarlet macaw at Bella Vista, she loved it. They're very nice plants or trees. So any beach in Costa Rica that has the bandera azul, which means blue flag, marked on the beach is considered one of the nicest beaches in Costa Rica. And the Rica beach has that. And I can 100% agree, it's one of the most beautiful beaches I've seen. So many crabs. Look at that. Oh. They're going all different directions. I thought they were going towards the ocean, but they just scattering away from me. Because I'm a human. In this episode, we traveled to Cerro de la Muerte, where we had to cancel the hike due to the altitude sickness. And then we woke up the next day and drove straight to Uvita and visited the Whale's Tail Beach.